The politics of mutual aid. I would like to take a moment to explain my political views. Except for a brief time in college when I campaigned for a far left political party, I have abhorred politics. I quickly discovered that the left cares nothing for the working people. The right was hardly any better, and so I avoided anything to do with politics. I haven't voted in 45 years. Instead, I indulged my interest in philosophy, history, art, nature, and warriorhood. But there is no escaping politics. Philosophy and history are now hate speech, conspiracy theories, and terrorism. Art has long since ceased to be about creativity and must now conform to political ideology, completely lacking any joy or beauty. Nature is a weapon used in politics to add more chains to the working class. And being a strongman is considered a threat and viewed with fear and suspicion. And so, disgusted by the pervasiveness of political insanity in every facet of life, I sought a cure, or a way to escape. What I have learned from all my studies and experiences is this fundamental truth. The greatest enemy of humanity and the world is the state. The state is and has always been a tool for murder, destruction, genocide, and enslavement. With less than a handful of historical cases where the state ruled with some benevolence, the rest of history is filled with the tyranny and despotism only a state can provide. The reason the state is evil is simple. The power of government attracts every psychopath in the world to it. Very quickly, every political party will be completely infiltrated by psychopaths. Their internal struggles and vying for power and rank ensures that only the most ruthless of psychopaths attain control of the government. When you give monsters the power to control millions of people's lives, the result is always catastrophic. Sun Tzu wrote in his book, The Art of War, "The first rule of war is to know your enemy. So make no mistake, your enemy is your government." This is why I opposed the liberals, the leftists, the socialists, and the communists. Not because I believe in some right-wing ideology, but because they all want to give more power to the government. And since the government is enemy to humanity, so the left is an enemy to humanity as well. And so what is the cure? I think every rational person knows by now. Politics can't fix politics. You can't expect serial killers to reform themselves. So there is no cure. So that leaves escape. By escaping and avoiding those institutions the government controls, we not only have greater freedoms for ourselves, but we will also undermine the government's hold over us. Look at our society today. Mental health is a disaster. Addiction, alcoholism, loneliness, depression, and suicide are major problems in every community. Why? Because the government runs the mental health system. A system that emptied the patients of mental hospitals onto the streets where they are left to yell at invisible people while wallowing in their own feces. A system that treats the problems of isolation and despair with pharmaceuticals that only make the problem worse and drive many to commit suicide. To solve these problems, we need to cut the government out. Form our own addiction, loneliness, and mental health support groups where people can share holistic remedies and support each other with our efforts to heal. Look at the medical system, a system that only makes a profit if you are made and kept sick. A system so exorbitantly expensive that few can afford health insurance, and anyone without will quickly become bankrupt, destitute, and homeless at the first illness. Why? Because government runs the medical system. To solve these problems, we need to cut the government out. Like the friendly societies of old, we can form our own medical support communities and associations to, at the very least, purchase health insurance at a discount. But taken to the next level, medical communities could register as a nonprofit, rent an office space one day a week, and invite medical professionals to donate 1 hour a month to treating members, so that you have a walk-in clinic available to members for as low as $20 a month. This is the model the old friendly societies of 150 years ago started with, and within a short time they became so successful that they ended up building and running their own hospitals, dentistry clinics, and retirement homes. Look at our educational system. Children are imprisoned for 12 years under the pretext of being educated, and when they graduate high school, they have all the qualifications needed to get a job flipping burgers. They would need to take out a mortgage to pay for college, where their Marxist indoctrination would be completed, but at least they would now qualify for a job making coffee. The modern education system is a soul-destroying machine that produces children with no ability to reason, with no creativity, and with no useful skills needed in the real world. Why? Because government runs the education system. To solve these problems, we need to cut the government out of the education system. No loving parent would feed their children into the meat grinder of public education. Homeschooling, private schools, and apprenticeship programs are the benevolent alternatives to public education and colleges. Study after study has confirmed that homeschooled children outperform their public school peers in every category of knowledge, skills, creativity, reasoning, and moral behavior. This is why homeschooling is being outlawed in many states and countries. But homeschooling is time and energy intensive, and most families cannot afford it. But a community of, say, 5 families that pool their time and resources could manage a homeschooling program that would dramatically reduce each individual family's costs. Or, taken to the next level, a community of 10 families could incorporate as a nonprofit, apply for grants and solicit donations, and open a private school facility run out of a church or a community space. The Montessori schools started this way. I could go on and list dozens of failed and dysfunctional systems, from homelessness to banking and finance, and the common problem is always government. I say we need to cut government out, and that is because government is cancer. A cancer that grows and grows and metastasizes into every fiber of our society, sickening and eventually killing the host. The more we can disengage from the beast system, the stronger we become, and the weaker the government becomes. We need to stop putting our energy into the carnival sideshow of our pretend democracy and put our time and money into ourselves and our communities. It's not about politics. It's about freedom or slavery, life or death.